Ladies and gentlemen, it's probably not a surprise to you that we have United States senators who know nothing about our system of government or the philosophical basis of America. But in case you doubted it, check out this from Senator Tim Kaine.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
I'm Rich Lowry of National Review, and whoa, where to begin? Tim Kaine unleashed that rant at a confirmation hearing for a Trump nominee who said in his introductory remarks that we get our rights from our creator, not from government or from the laws. And Tim Kaine's mind was blown. He acted like he'd never heard of this notion before and immediately goes to the mullahs of Iran as an example of people who supposedly believe the same thing. When, if you wanted to find an example closer to home, as a Virginia senator, you might have thought of a fellow Virginian, tall guy, slender, sandy hair, great interest in architecture, taste for fine wine, knack for writing. Ring any bells? Famously, Thomas Jefferson just had three things inscribed on his tombstone. One, he drafted the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom. Two, he was the founder or father, as he put it, of the University of Virginia, wahoo wah. And three, he was the author of the Declaration of Independence. And the fact is that Tim Kaine could make all the same complaints he did against its offending Trump nominee, a guy named Riley Barnes, against the Declaration of Independence that shockingly says that we are endowed with certain unalienable rights by our creator, and with a real arrogant certitude says this is a self-evident truth. Has Tim Kaine heard of the Declaration of Independence? I assume he has. Has he ever read it? Maybe the antiquated script in the original is too hard to make out, but apparently the old sage of Monticello, Thomas Jefferson, was lucky that when he was nominated or appointed to be ambassador to France, he didn't have to get confirmed by a Senate Foreign Relations Committee with Tim Kaine on it. As a matter of fact, there wasn't a U.S. Senate now, but that's a small detail. As Jefferson noted later, the sentiments in the Declaration were commonplace in 18th century America. As anyone who's seen Hamilton knows, Alexander Hamilton was Jefferson's nemesis, but he too insisted that the sacred rights of mankind are written as with a sunbeam in the whole volume of human nature by the hand of the divinity itself and can never be erased or obscured by mortal power. John Adams, James Wilson, John Dickinson, among many other founding figures, said exactly the same thing. Whereas Tim Kaine hears the idea that we get our rights from our creator and thinks of the thought and writings of, say, Ayatollah Khomeini, the philosophical basis of the idea is really in John Locke, one of the greatest Enlightenment thinkers who had a strong influence on our founders. Locke grounded his liberalism in the notion that all of us equally have a God-given dignity and God-given rights. The power of this idea is that when rights and the law conflict, when the law impinges on our rights, it's the law that must give way. Apparently, Tim Kaine's view is that our rights come from the government, come from the law. So that implies that the government gets to decide what our rights are and to what extent they are honored. The American idea, to the contrary, is that we have a pre-existing set of rights that it is the duty of the government to honor. And if it fails to honor and protect them, it is illegitimate. The abolitionists used this view to great effect in the 19th century. It was their contention that at a time when the government said it was okay for one class of people to enslave another class of people, to hold them in bondage, that this was fundamentally wrong, that this was an offense against God, that no laws could efface a natural right to liberty. So at the end of the day, Kaine must have a beef not just with Riley Barnes, but with William Lloyd Garrison, with Frederick Douglass, with Abraham Lincoln.
That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
He presumably would have gone ballistic over Garrison's conviction that the right to enjoy liberty is inalienable. To invade it is to usurp the prerogative of Jehovah. Rather than a warrant for theocracy, the Garrison view supported the extension of rights. As he put it, wherever there is a human being, I see God-given rights inherent in that being, whatever may be the sex or complexion. Kaine's outburst shows that progressives have an allergy to God in anything but a purely private or personal context, and also shows it's not just school children who are ignorant of our system of government and the basis of this country. Is it too much to ask that a United States senator from Virginia, from the Commonwealth that gave us Thomas Jefferson, know a little bit about the heritage of this country and go out of his way, maybe once in a while, to read a book? I guess so.